Hey everyone, how are you? What a crowd. Thank you for being here. Great. And nice being with people again. Welcome, thanks. I'm Randall Morton, Progressive Forum founder. It's so exciting. Nikole Hannah-Jones is with us tonight discussing, You guys are a lively crowd. Let's keep it up. She's discussing what's already an American classic, a #1 New York Times bestseller, The 1619 Project, a new origin story. I'm also excited. The ACLU of Texas is sponsoring our event tonight. Yeah. And bringing in so many movement leaders and community partners, please visit their tables in the back. In a moment, I'll welcome Executive Director Ani Blair to the stage to properly honor her and the ACLU of Texas. And I want to thank especially Congregation Emmanuel for hosting our events. The Progressive Forum has been around, We've been in a lot of other theaters in town, but Emmanuel team is truly the best, the most professional in this city, and we are grateful. I should thank the Texas legislature for helping sell out this event. Banning the 1619 Project from being taught in public schools. I also should thank the Texas legislature for being so extravagantly concerned about me as a white person. Senate Bill 3 says Texas is worried that this kind of history will make me feel, quote, discomfort, guilt, or anguish, unquote. I mean, that's really the way that's the way they did it. Here is my message to the Texas legislature. Discomfort feels good when it turns into anger and action. And that's healthy anger, which is exciting and it's productive. And I do like being an outlaw. So I'm sharing that honor with you. I'm giving you copies of my new hat. Since we're dealing with book banning, and your new hat says then, 1619, Texas Book Smuggler. I have a dozen hats I'll give away at the end of the evening during the book signing. And this is also my way of meeting some of you, so please come over, say hello, and ask for your hat, and let's have a chat. Please do turn off those cell phones. We don't want to feel actual discomfort. And to maximize book smuggling, pick up your free copy of the 1619 Project at the table of our terrific book partners, Kindred Stories. This is a Black-owned bookstore. This Black-owned bookstore in the Third Ward got mentioned in the New York Times last month as a national leader. So congratulations, Kindred Stories and the Terry Ham family. Tonight's event is producing 4 tons of carbon, counting Hannah-Jones's air travel, the venue energy, and your own driving to and fro, so that you don't feel guilty, and I do want you to feel comfortable. The Progressive Forum made a donation to the Texas Coastal Exchange, which sequesters carbon and protects Texas marshland. Your purchase of a ticket is also doing double duty. Your purchase is also making possible a free live stream of this event, reaching thousands across Texas and around the world. That free live stream will air in 2 weeks on September the 8th at 7:30 p.m., and the recording will remain on our website indefinitely. So please go to the website for more information. Share it with your friends who couldn't attend tonight, teachers, students, and all those who care about complete history. Just get the word around. And you history lovers will like our upcoming events. Acclaimed religious historian Karen Armstrong is returning to the Progressive Forum for the American book launch event of her book called Sacred Nature, Restoring the Ancient Bond with the Natural World. And in October, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman will be in this room to discuss his memoir, Here Right Matters. Yeah. That is a likely sellout, so do get your tickets early. And in another national book launch, CNN presidential historian Douglas Brinkley will discuss his book, Silent Spring Revolution, John F. Kennedy, Rachel Carson, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, and the Great Environmental Awakening. The ACLU of Texas is tonight's exclusive sponsor and made this event possible. I'm impressed how smooth working with the ACLU team has been. You'll be glad to know this is truly a top-notch organization on the Texas front for justice and equality. I'm delighted Executive Director Ani Blair will help me interview Nikole Hannah-Jones, a scholar in her own right. She's a Harvard graduate, a State Department diplomat serving in the Middle East, and the former CEO of Link Houston, raising millions of dollars for equitable transportation. Please welcome Ani Blair. Ani.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're a rock star.
Thank you. You're very kind.
I want to present you and your colleagues with our gift. It's a clock because we like to say it's our time, and it's engraved with the event details in your name. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. It's so great to see you all here tonight. Thank you, Randall, for that beautiful introduction, and for the Progressive Forum for partnering with us, as well as Kindred Stories, to be here with the ACLU of Texas and the remarkable and amazing Nikole Hannah-Jones. I also want to thank Congregation Emmanuel, they've been amazing hosts this evening. Thank you for sharing your space to allow us to have this conversation. So, please. So tonight's a big deal. I mean, I know you all know that because you're here and there are a few hundred people here, but it's a big deal to have Nikole Hannah-Jones in Texas, and it's a big deal for me. So as Randall mentioned, I previously worked in foreign policy. I traveled around the world, I met lots of people, and I would find myself often in very similar situations in different countries or even here in the United States. And the scenario often looks something like this. You walk in, it's a big plenary session or a conference or a meeting or something of that nature, or even just a reception. And you find your little cluster, you introduce yourself, and you tell your story. Now the thing is, when you're in an international crowd of professionals, that story takes on a slightly different level of detail. So instead of just saying your name, people tell the origin of their name. And instead of telling just their country, they tell the exact region and how their family ended up there. So when the circle comes around to me, the situation goes something like this. I, with pride, share that I am a Black woman whose family came to the United States as enslaved people from West Africa. We probably landed somewhere in the East Coast, Virginia, or slightly south. Based on some documents and some DNA testing, we probably lived with the Creek Nation and made our way to Oklahoma in the early 1900s. For people who are not from the United States, that is a remarkable feat, no matter how many generations in between, to go from being an enslaved person to being a diplomat. But what I often find is for people who are from the US, that's a showstopper. Conversation stops right there. Are you sure your family was enslaved? You probably came 2 to 3 centuries, or 2 to 3 generations ago. Or how do you actually know that? My family came and worked hard and were immigrants and started with nothing, and now they live the American dream. Or my favorite that I usually get from my US colleagues is, why did you have to bring up slavery? Why do we have to bring up slavery? That's why we're here tonight. And that's what Nikole Hannah-Jones wrote about, because it is part of our origin. Her project, from the book to the podcast to the original series in the New York Times, explains that it's part of our systems, and every systemic change that every progressive group uses is a piece of that story. We have to acknowledge slavery as part of our origins, from our classrooms to our government to our homes. So to stand here today, I do it with great pride as the first woman of color to lead the ACLU of Texas. Thank you. As a parent of 3 beautiful children who care about the future in which they will develop, and as a Black woman who was raised by Miss Carla Blair, who's right there in the 3rd row. So I am beyond excited to be hosting Nikole Hannah-Jones, and I know you don't want to listen to me anymore, so let me get on with the story.
Thank you, Ani. That was beautiful. Now the two of us will welcome Nikole. The Progressive Forum seeks to present the great minds who founded new fields of understanding, what the 1619 Project represents. Nikole Hannah-Jones is a journalist for the New York Times covering racial injustice. The MacArthur Foundation awarded her a Genius Grant. Time magazine named her among the world's 100 most influential people. Ani Blair and I give you Nikole Hannah-Jones.